Hello and welcome to anyone and everyone watching this first and, for all I know, last video to ever go up on the channel. Today we're going to be looking at Angels with Scaly Wings, a game full of rich characters, gripping suspense, and tragedy of a kind I've personally never experienced. If you've played the game before and want to skip my personal anecdotes in finding it, feel free to skip ahead to the time on the screen now. I understand perfectly, sometimes I can't stand to listen to even my favorite YouTube creators ramble on for more than a few seconds. But if you're still here, let's get this over quickly anyway. I only found out about this game very recently. I happened upon a screenshot from the game while browsing the community on Steam, and being somewhat of a connoisseur of dragons, I said, hey, let's see what all that's about. In no time at all, I learned that it belonged to this very game, and I was hooked. I had never even considered spending money on this type of game. They've never been for me until I saw this. What I heard about the story was gripping. What I saw in screenshots was beautifully made. The characters made me like them even before knowing who was who. Now, I'm not going to try and lie about this. I have already played the game for 3 hours, in fact, from around 11:40 last night until just before 3 AM. Frankly, although I thought about recording it, I was unsure about a game so different from what I usually play, the competitive stuff as well as a solid dose of strategy and RTS. I just wasn't sure if it would be something that I'd be able to record well. But after doing it, I thought I should have been recording the whole time, so I definitely can't stop now. Now, before I continue, if you think you want to play this game, I strongly advise you not to watch this video. The game's narrative has been gripping from the moment I set foot on the other side of that portal, and I would hate to see the suspense and awe that pervades this game be ruined for you. Besides that, I'm far enough along that if you don't know what's going on, you'll probably be pretty damn lost. But if despite all of that you still wish to stay and watch, I will summarize the past events very briefly. Actually, I had just spent several minutes trying to write up a summary that took way too long, and really I decided I shouldn't be catering to those who haven't played it. Go play it yourself. It is a fantastic game. Long story short, you go through the portal and oversee a trade deal. Human PDAs for dragon super generators. But things turn out to go awry very quickly, and you suddenly find yourself caught up in a police investigation that leads to the first human to go through the portal before you being the prime suspect in 3 murders, at least so far in my playing. And that's all I'll take the time to say, besides the fact that, regrettably, Anna is dead. That's really the only important part people should know about the first 3 hours that I played. I felt bad. I bet you feel bad. And if you've played it, you did feel bad when it happened. But I can't go back. Because I won't be starting again. I don't want to do frank reactions. I really don't want to be one of those channels. But every point from here on out is completely new to me, so let's not wait any longer. Now, if I remember correctly, I've just been escorted back to my house by Sebastian after finding out that the portal was broken. Someone had torn pieces out, there wasn't a way to fix it, and I couldn't go back home like Amira wanted me to, the Minister of Arts and Culture, I believe. She wanted me to go home because it was about to get very dangerous, because they couldn't cover up the fact that the human had been responsible for 3 murders for much longer. So I can do one of these 3 things, and I don't know what to do. I've been pretty vigilant about the investigation. I've done pretty much everything I can think would be useful. And at this point, I've already been at the production facility. I had to look at Anna's body there because they knew I knew her. But I couldn't answer any questions about that. I don't think there's much else I could say, but actually, now I think about it, Anna's assistant, Damien, maybe he knows more than he realizes. I don't see a reason to go to the archives, and visiting the store is just a waste of time in a situation like this, so maybe I can talk to Damien, or maybe Remy's back there. And I will be trying to do some voice acting, but I'm not great at it. I don't have a good voice, especially for the female characters, so this could go very poorly. Oh, Lorem, wait. Lorem's here. Okay. I didn't... Wait, did he say he worked here? I feel like he said he worked here, and I forgot. I haven't talked to him in, like, a really long time. It's been a few days in the game. Hey, Ink. Lorem, what are you doing here? I'm just fetching some equipment for my roommate. He's in the middle of an experiment and really needs his stuff. He sounded very emotional, which is very unusual for him. Sounds like it's serious. And you here for important human business, I bet. Sure. By the way, how about I invite you to our place sometime? There's another thing you could help me with. What is it? I'd like to make some pictures of you. Oh, okay, because Lorem here, if you didn't know, is basically trying to make a game, and he's trying to get an accurate portrayal of humans into it, which I think is very admirable. I can say that. Okay. I want to use them as references for the humans in my game. Yep, there you go. I see. Well, I can't promise anything right now, but I'll keep it in mind. Great, thanks. I really like this dragon. He's very cheery. I should really get going before my roommate blows up the apartment. Sure, take care. You too. Oh, that was bad. Yeah, no, maybe I shouldn't try to voice act. Maybe I just shouldn't, except for the ones I know I can. You know what? I think the bad voice acting is just gonna be part of this. Let's do it. This should be the right place. Yep. Oh, it's you again. What do you want? Can I ask you a few questions? What about? Anna's murder. Speechless awe. And who are you to go around asking questions like that? I'm working with the police in this matter. And I'm supposed to believe that? For all I know, you could be with the murderer, and you're just here to find out if I know something that could implicate you. Well, according to my information, you didn't particularly like the victim. Not only were you the last person to see her alive, but you're also the one who found her. As you may imagine, this warrants some questions. You know what? I don't have to listen to this. I don't know who you think you are, barging into my workplace and barking questions, but if you're really with the police, let them know that I won't say one more word on the matter without a lawyer. Okay, Damien, I don't like this guy. I haven't liked this guy the whole time. I wondered if Damien was a suspicious person in general, or if the rumors surrounding Reza were affecting his perception of me. Before this, everyone I had talked to during my investigations had been rather cooperative. Before deciding my next move, I returned to my apartment for a moment of rest. A small piece of paper had been slipped under my door while I was gone. "Don't go to the portal," was all it said. I considered the possibility of a hidden message, but that was unlikely. The statement was blunt. We're gonna ignore that. Blunt and quickly scrawled. Someone clearly didn't want me to go to the portal, but why would I go there in the first place? As it was out of order right now, such an action would serve no purpose. I looked outside the window at the portal's faint silhouette in the distance. The paper rustled between my fingers as I fidgeted with it, wondering about the message's sender and significance. My train of thought was violently interrupted by a sharp burst of gunfire, echoing okay. Yet, the only person with a gun here is Reza, and so this is not good. I had to think fast. The gunshots ensured Reza's involvement. Yep, he was at the portal. The question was, why? If this was his attempt to flee back to the human world, he would receive a rather unpleasant surprise the moment he would try to use the portal. Or maybe Sebastian's theory is incorrect, and Reza held the part needed to repair the portal, in which case his escape could be imminent. Because we went and we found out the portal was not working. Because I was about to be sent back because things are about to be very dangerous. I might have said this. This might get cut out, actually. I feel like I already said this, but I might not have. The gunshots themselves were another question. Was someone trying to stop him? The police patrol may have seen him, and he may have been taken by surprise. This could be another murder in progress. But all of his murders were committed with a sharp weapon before now, not a gun. He didn't want to be heard. Besides, it was only early evening, and the town was still bustling. If Reza wanted to stay hidden, he was doing a rather poor job at it. Of course, there was also the possibility that he wanted to be heard, but who would he want to attract? The police? Maverick? It could easily be a trap for those hunting him, and that technically included me, though I wasn't sure if he knew of my involvement in the investigation. It was also a very real possibility that he knew my apartment was close enough to the portal to hear a gunshot. Could it be a signal for me? Regardless, the words I held in my hands were unmistakable. Don't go to the portal. What should I do? I mean, the police are almost guaranteed to know, but I also really don't want to die. Like, so far, I've not been trusting who I assume is Reza, leaving a lot of letters. Most of them have been pretty obvious it was him, but some of them are unsure. I haven't really been trusting him. Which would mean I should go to the portal if I follow that logic, but I'd really rather not get shot. despite the implication of this, I'm just gonna stay. I don't think going is going to do anything. If Reza told me to stay, then I'm not gonna be able to do much. He might just shoot me because going there means I know too much. I don't know. So stay inside. Ultimately, I trusted the mysterious message. Remy's list of phone numbers, given to me when he brought me to this apartment in the first place, proved to be a valuable tool. I dialed the... Okay, I need to calm down. This is too much tension as soon as I've started. I dialed the emergency line and was greeted by a calm voice asking me about my emergency. The gravity of the situation was understood, and I was advised to stay inside until further notice. A team was dispatched to deal with the situation while I waited. From my window, I tried to catch a glimpse of what was going on at the portal, but I couldn't see much. The dark of night was fast approaching. About an hour later, I was informed that the team had searched the perimeter, though no trace of Reza was found. I was given the go-ahead to continue with my investigation, but I was free to stay where I was if I felt unsafe. That was a very, very abrupt cut in the music. Got some more time left. Oh, great. Okay. Okay, so... Okay. Not sure about this one. Because visiting the archives, like I said, probably won't help too much. But at the same time... I mean, visiting the store is not going to do much for me. But maybe if I wait... If Reza's gone from there, maybe... he'll try to leave another message or something here, or maybe he'll even come here in person and try to explain something. Neither of these options seem very viable, so I'm just gonna wait. In the end, I decided to wait. Investigating was difficult work, yes, but I decided it would be safer to lay low and stay inside for now. I'd gathered enough information for today. Afterwards, it was time to confront Sebastian with my findings. There you are, Hank. It seems you've taken a liking to Bryce's chair. Maybe. I could get used to this. Don't tell Bryce, though. By the way, good job calling the police when you heard Reza. It's too bad he got away again, but maybe a witness... You know what? I'm not cutting that one out. Not happening. But maybe a witness will come forward and we'll find out what happened. Now, let's take a look... Okay. You know what? No, this is staying in. I can't speak, and that's staying in. Unless I really mess up. Now, let's take a look what you've got for me. This isn't much information to go on, but who knows when Nope, I'm cutting this out. Hold on. Okay, I'm going back. Oh, that was terrible. There you are, Ink. It seems you've taken a like to Bryce's chair. I'm starting again. There you are, Ink. It seems to me you've taken a liking to Bryce's chair. Maybe. I could get used to this. Don't tell Bryce, though. By the way, good job calling the police when you heard Reza. It's too bad he got away again, but maybe a witness will come forward and we'll find out what happened. Now, let's take a look what you've got for me. This isn't much information to go on, but who knows when it could come in handy. I do what I can. I know, and your help is greatly appreciated, believe me, especially since we're so short on staff right now. That'll be all for today. I'll contact you if we need anything. Of course. See you next time. See you. I feel like some of those, goodbyes go on for a little bit too long. Just one or two sentences longer than they need to. Finally, a free day. What should I do? I basically haven't met with Remy at all. He doesn't seem like the type that would be able to A, help with the investigation, or B, be very much help in general, actually. I could meet with Lorem again. He did want me to come over so he could get a few drawings. But at the same time, I don't know. I have a whole free day, but last time I thought I had a bunch of free time, there was a murder, and I had to go attend to that. So, I'm slightly worried about what I'm gonna do, and, you know, frankly, of all of the options, meeting with Bryce isn't gonna do much. He's not even on the investigation anymore. He's now Amara's personal guard, against Reza. Luckily, at least he didn't lose his job, as he put it, which is true enough. Like I said, I'm not gonna meet with Remy. Meeting with Lorem I can do another day. I want to make sure everything's fine with Adine, because, yeah, I remember now. She saw me when I was having to go to the portal, and we weren't able to talk for long, and she was really confused as to why I had to leave, and I want to make sure she knows I'm still here, because she wouldn't know. Oh, this is where Adine... Oh, no. This is where Adine lives. This was where... Okay, then. This was where Reza killed, I think, his second victim. It was a maintenance worker coming to fix a power outage that Reza started by all... like, by all the evidence. Okay, this should be the right address. Oh. The game crashed. Excuse me? Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna start the game back up. That wasn't... be right back. Oh no. Oh, wait. Oh, there it is. It was just taking a second. OBS doesn't like the game too much. Alright, skip past the intro, as I've seen it about 4 times now. Oh, yeah, I have to start back from here. Okay, I'll just come back when I've gotten back to where we were. I'm not gonna make any different options, choices, whatever. Alright, getting back to where we were. Now, once we're there, I'm gonna save, so I don't have to go through all of that again. Nope, okay. Go ahead and save. Yep, no, we're not taking any chances. We're gonna put it in a new slot, too. And saved. Okay, this should be the right address. Hopefully... Okay, I don't know what happened the first time this worked. I'm coming! Oh, I can't. Okay. My voice is gone while I was getting back here. This is bad. I shouldn't stay silent. My voice doesn't do well with silence. Oh, it's you. I was expecting someone else. You're a little early. Yeah, I didn't know how long it would take me to get here. Better early than late, right? You know, I'm glad they decided not to send you away after all. Me too. Oh, roommate or something? And who might that be? Oh, I was like that was the other option. Like one of the kids like forgot that until after like I was literally about to say what about the kids and nope. Okay, this is Emily. Emily, like Emily but with an A. I like that. Emily, she's one of the kids I work with. Hello, Emily. Say hi, Emily. Hello. I'm not going to do that voice very well, it's just going to be the average. I just have to bring her back to the orphanage real quick. Feel free to make yourself at home in the meantime, okay? Sure. People are very trusting of the humans. Like, granted, I've talked to Adine a lot, but come on. So this is where you live, Adine. Small but cozy. I'm back! That was quick. Being able to fly does have its perks, you know. Wait, you flew her back? Well, I am a delivery flyer. She doesn't get scared or anything? Not at all. She's such a brave little girl. So what exactly is it that you do at the orphanage? I'm a volunteer. I help them out with whatever they need and sometimes take care of the kids. They only have so many social workers. The ratio is 1 social worker for every 10 children, so it's good for the kids to spend some one-on-one time with someone they know. I guess you could almost call it babysitting, but for the kids, we basically become foster parents. The older they get, the less likely they are to be adopted. She might be too old to be considered soon. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily true. That'd be very nice to say, but I don't know if I'm gonna... I mean... Okay, you know what? Both of these are just bad. I can see why it's horrible. Like, that's just so cruel. Why would you say that? And then, what a shame is just like, that seems so dismissive. So I will go with the kind-hearted option here. I'm afraid it's just not that easy, and the actual numbers of adoptions aren't very promising either. I'm worried about what will happen to her if she doesn't find a family. We'll still take care of her, of course, but it's not quite the same as having parents. I'd adopt her myself, but I don't think I could care for her properly, not as a single parent with my packed work schedule. I still volunteer as often as I can, because if I don't, who will? Someone needs to be there for those kids. It's true, but not the right thing to say, because that's just like... I don't know. That seems really dismissive of what she's doing. No. That is very nice of you. Just, I don't think I have to explain that. Just, no. Thanks, but for me, it's not about being nice. I almost feel obligated to help, you know? Anyway, let's talk about something less depressing. Like what? Let me think. Oh, I just remembered that someone died here recently. Here? In your apartment? No, not here, silly. It was close, though. Barely a block from here. Hold on. So is this the same apartments or not? I don't like this. Okay. Well, actually, I don't remember exactly if they said they died here or if they died on their way to repair it or whatever. So I suppose it could be the same one. Let's just see. I'm just talking for no reason. Right, the murder of the maintenance guy. I remember that. Okay, we are talking about the same thing. Wait, it was a murder? I didn't know that. I thought it was just an accident or something. That's terrible. Sorry for mentioning it. Finding the first victim was already bad enough for me, and now I have to hear there was another murder in town. I wish I could get some good news for once. No. Don't be so sensitive. By saying don't be so sensitive, I am not being sensitive, which is the kind of irony that I honestly hate. At least it wasn't you who was murdered. It's a decent, it's a decent joke to make. I mean, she's pretty happy enough about most things. Not, okay, that makes it sound like I'm suggesting she's happy about murder. No, let's just try to make light of it. That's a strange way of looking at it, but you have a point. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, that worked out. I was worried for a second. That reminds me, I've got something I want to try on you. Try on me? It's nothing too dramatic. I read this magazine the other day and found a few interesting articles. Using her partial hand, she held up a magazine to show me its cover. A rather bold-looking female was presented on the front, adorned with trinkets like rings and jewels. Various headlines gave me an idea of the content within. It reminded me a lot of the typical gossip magazines back at home. Lifestyle, the magazine for modern people? This issue even came with a set of fortune cards. I'm sure they're qualified to determine my fate. With articles like 5 steps to get the partner of your dreams, I'm sure they're qualified to determine my fate. Come on, it'll be fun. If you say so. What should we look at first? That would be such a quick turnaround for what we've been already just talking about. I don't care just makes it sound like I don't want to do it at all. Yeah, no, you decide. Alright, let's see. Here, this article talks about dreams and what they mean. Have you had any strange or recurring dreams lately? Yeah. So, when we came through the portal, we had a lot of visions of, like, dragons and fire for that split second while being transported. And then, apparently I've been having these sort of visions in my dreams recurringly. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of interested to see what magazines like this say. I never take them seriously, but I'm interested to see what they say. Fire? That's interesting. Apparently it's a rather common symbol that can mean a variety of things. Another thing to consider is the significance of the symbol of the dreamer. So what does fire mean to you? Fire can be destructive, but also wild and passionate. It can represent an issue or a problem you can no longer ignore, similar to an actual fire breaking out. It also mentions prophetic dreams, but let's hope that yours don't fall into that category. I doubt they do. Phew. What about your dreams? It kind of feels like they're different every night. Most of them are nonsense, but sometimes I dream of people I used to know. What do you make of all of this? I mean, it is a bunch of baloney. Stuff in these magazines is horrible, but I can't say. Even the article concludes that scientists haven't figured out exactly why we dream. It's a big mystery. Alright, let's move on. Oh, I thought you meant moving on from the magazine. Don't be such a sourpuss. There's some interesting stuff in here. I'll reserve judgment on that. Do you think you can hit the trash can with it from here? You should try. Okay, maybe you didn't like the first article, but just wait for what I'm going to show you now. What's next? A personality test. Didn't you always want to know what kind of relationship would suit you? I like this close relationship between this magazine and the trash can. I am really adamant. The game wants me to be really adamant about how trash this magazine is. Sure, why not? Why else are we here? Let's find out. Okay, first question. In a relationship, what role do you take? I mean, yeah, I don't have a particular role. I wouldn't, really. Variety is the spice of life, right? Moving on to the next question. Wait, aren't you going to answer the questions too? I'll take the test after you. I don't want to keep track of both of our scores at once. Alright. Question number 2. What is your favorite dessert? Ooh, this is a good question. What does this question have to do with relationships? So much according to BuzzFeed. Red Hot Chili Cookies, that's horrible. No, just for that was single word. Lemon ice cream and spring. I don't like any of these 3. I don't especially like this, so... But I mean, out of these choices, I guess I have to go with this, because it's the only one I even slightly like. An all-time classic. Who doesn't like chocolate cake? Here's the next question. What is your dream job? Farmer. My career would not, suit that. Both in this game and in real life. Business person, stay-at-home parent. Is anyone's dream job really stay-at-home parent in the end? I mean, in the end, I can speak. Business person... I mean, that could mean a lot, technically, because, like, it can mean that you know, manage a business, or it can mean something as simple as you work as a business. Yeah, as the entire business. That's what I meant to say. For a business. I mean... I don't know. I don't... Well, no, business person does, actually mean pretty much... Like, you're gonna be stuck at a desk job for the most part. Like, it's not something you can really do much with. You know, of these 3... Like, I was most averse to this to begin with, but of these 3, actually stay-at-home parent. I'm with you on that one, but does that really qualify as a job? That's what I'm saying. Are you questioning the almighty magazine? Forget I said anything. How many more questions are there? That's all of them. Now to look up the results. No, it says here that the results are outlined in the weight loss booklet that came with the magazine, but I already threw that away. Oh no, that's mean. No, I'm not saying that. You clearly needed it. Ugh. Yeah, let's go with that one. Yeah, how else would you know? There's no other way. I'll be at a loss for the rest of my life. But now we get to the best part. The fortune cards. That stuff's not real. Oh, jeez. You know, I like fortunes. Fortune cookies are great. Me too. How is that supposed to work, anyway? I mean, they're just cards. How can they predict the future? Apparently, there are different schools of thought regarding the use of fortune-telling cards. The cards themselves don't know anything. They're just a tool. So the information actually comes from somewhere else. But where, though? Well, one interpretation is that it's our subconscious who gives us the answers that we seek. Similar to how dreams can be interpreted, the interpretation of the cards is very dependent on the person itself, and the symbols they recognize in the card's images. We recognize images that are relevant to our lives, and that gives us an idea about ourselves and our current problems. However, that is just the most grounded interpretation out there. People usually associate something more paranormal with fortune cards. One of those explanations is that the cards are our way to communicate with a higher being, a paranormal entity that knows more than we do and can give us a subtle nudge using the cards. And who would that be? The explanations range from ghosts to angelic beings. One even involved humans. Really? Yeah, people would say you could just communicate with humans this way. And then there was also something they called higher self. Higher self? How come you know so much about this? Because I read the article about it. Oh, that would explain it. Okay, what should I draw for you? Why don't I get to be the one who's reading the fortune? Because I paid for this magazine, so the cards are mine. Okay. So, what are my options? I could read your past, present, or future. What's it going to be? Oh. You know, I don't believe, the superstitious stuff, necessarily, but I am literally talking to a dragon. So, I'm gonna go with the future just for the sake that somehow, in some freakish supernatural manner, it's going to actually help me in my endeavors in this world. The prediction of the future is what most people associate with these readings. However, their purpose is to prepare the person in question for a possible future, rather than just predicting it. I need preparation. I need a lot of preparation. That's exactly what I need. Oh my. What is it? The card you've drawn is associated with drastic measures, particularly those with a final conclusion. This can be interpreted in many ways, but it can refer to death, the ultimate conclusion. I didn't say that right. But it can refer to death, the ultimate conclusion. It can also mean many other things, like a violent outcome of a brewing conflict, or a positive resolution of our long-running conflict. What do you think? Oh, no. This is very generic. It is, but... I mean, that would just ruin the fun, wouldn't it? I don't want to just constitute more worry. She doesn't need to worry about things. I do wonder if I should actually be worried about this. If anything, it's not supposed to make you worry, but give you some input so you can prepare for what's to come. And what would that be? I suppose you'll find that out when the time comes. I guess that's everything the magazine has to offer. Seriously, this game hates this magazine, or it wants me to hate this magazine, however you want to look at it. Someone hates this magazine. This was interesting. I guess that means you had fun then? Sure, let's call it that. So, do you have anything interesting going on at the moment? I can't imagine what ambassador life is like. It's been busy. I thought this whole thing would go by quickly and without any mishaps, but now it seems like there's always something happening. Oh, really? Yeah, I figured I'd come here, do the exchange, and leave again, but apparently it's not that easy. It never is. You speak like you've had experience as an ambassador. Well, no, but doing deliveries is similar. People order something, I fly to them, we exchange the product for payment, and I go back. It's basically the same thing. Yeah, sure. But things always go wrong. For example, imagine you have 2 deliveries to make, and the first one goes smoothly, okay? I'm imagining it very hard right now. Alright, so you get to the destination of the second delivery, and they actually check what you're handing to them. It turns out that you mixed up the orders, but you already delivered the first one. That's certainly not a pleasant situation to be in. Now you have to go back to the first family you delivered to, who by now probably noticed that they got the wrong delivery, and exchange what you gave for them for what they actually ordered. Right. But it turns out that they didn't mind the mix-up. As a matter of fact, they've already started eating what they got instead. It's not so bad that they aren't angry, but now you can't exchange the orders anymore, so you have to fly back to the restaurant to get the second order remade. It happens all the time. As a result, the people waiting for the second order do get angry, because their order has to be remade and delivered all over again. And the plot thickens. They complain, of course, get their meal comped. The restaurant can no longer sell that first order you still have, so the orders for both families are deducted from your paycheck, and you end up eating nothing but ramen all week again just so you can make rent this month. That is unfortunate. That's... okay. That got really personal and depressing really fast. And that's why you always double-check your orders, because even a small mistake can have the consequences reaching further than you'd think. Sometimes we just have to learn the hard way. I guess so. Anyway, what... My throat decided to, I don't know, seize up or something. Anyway, what else have you been up to recently? Do you remember the stunt flying competition I told you about? Of course, I assume your participation is a given by now? Actually, I'm not so sure about that. I mailed the application earlier today, so hopefully it'll arrive before the deadline. Or maybe I should just fly it over myself, while showing off a few moves, that is. You should fly over anyway and make sure you get in. It would be a shame if you couldn't enter because of a technicality. Yeah, I really should drop by. By the way, could you do me a favor? That depends on the favor, I suppose. It's kind of a long story, but there's something I need. You know some people at the police station, right? Oh, no. She was talking to Remy about trying to get the blueprints for the human structure found by the portal. I don't know why she wants them, but I get the feeling this is definitely connected, all things considered. Yes? I think they're in possession of a map related to underground building they found. Why am I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but come on. I've heard about that. Oh, that's great. Maybe you can get them to hand it over? It doesn't even have to be the real thing. A copy would be fine. What do you even need it for? Let's just say I'm interested in doing a little investigation of the place myself. What's so special about it? It's supposed to be a remnant of an earlier civilization, or maybe even something created by humans. Who wouldn't be interested in that? An actual human in front of you is not enough? If I had you all to myself, it might be enough, but since your stay is only temporary, I'll need some other human-related things to keep me busy. How do I even ask for something like that? We could always say that humanity is interested in it. Honestly, they probably would be. Could you ask them for me, please? I can try. For you. I won't promise anything, but I can certainly try. Thank you, that means a lot to me. I didn't know you were into archaeology. I wouldn't care as much if it turned out to just be some old building. The whole thing about it being made by humans is what's really interesting. Why is that? Well, the myths wouldn't be very mythical anymore if that was the case. We'd have proof. And that's so... Oh, jeez. Hold on, wait. And that's so shortly after finding out that humans are, in fact, real. Okay, and that's so shortly after finding out that humans are, in fact, real. Yes, what a time to be alive. So you believe in all that stuff? Belief isn't the right word when you're standing in front of me, you know. That alone is a miracle. I get excited all over again just thinking about it. Speaking of which, all this excitement made me lose track of the time. Is it that late already? Oh, actually, I have places to be, especially if I want to make sure my contest application arrives in time. I guess I should be going then, huh? For now, at least. I certainly wouldn't mind if you stopped by again sometime. Would there be any magazines involved? Actually, that magazine doesn't come out that often, so we wouldn't have anything new from them. I could get a different one if you wanted, though. Don't bother. If you say so. Anyway, I really have to go, so I'll see you around. Gone. Characters make very abrupt exits in this game. Looks like I have some free time today. Oh, I actually have some more free time. Very nice. I don't ever rest, because resting is just wasting time, isn't it? I was up until 3 o'clock last night playing this game, and now I'm pretty tired, actually, because I got up at 7. It wasn't the greatest. Okay, you know, Lorem, I want to meet with Lorem again. It's quite interesting to hear about all the things they think about us. Oh, he has a nice apartment. There you are, come in. Sure. Honestly, I can't believe you agreed to do this again. It's truly my pleasure. Now that I've had the chance to work through everything from last time, we can do some real work. Sounds great. I did a staggering amount of research on mythical humans. Here, let me show you some of the stuff I found. Sure. We sat down at the coffee table. Lorem opened up a laptop and started to type away. Seeing the laptop brought back memories. In our world, they'd become obsolete a long time ago. Before I show you these images, I should probably tell you that some of them are really weird. Just don't take them the wrong way. You already told me about the four-headed humans, so I think I can handle this. Alright. Oh. Okay, not what I was expecting. If I say this, he's just gonna take it as me actually saying that. That doesn't look I mean, he is trying to be accurate. Let's go with this. It doesn't look very human to me. This one's supposed to be one of our ancestors. Ancestors? Well, it does remind me of some of the dragons I've seen here, but I'm not sure what humans have to do with this. You remember the myth about our creator turning into a dragon, right? Oh yeah, I remember that one. I remember most of our conversation. Now, here is an interesting question. What species did that human turn into? There are a number of dragon species nowadays that aren't genetically compatible with each other. Okay, burp, hold on. Oh, yep, nope, can't talk for extended periods of time. That's not what my body will let me do. There are a number of dragon species nowadays that aren't genetically compatible with each other. Did the human choose one of them? Did they, perhaps, procreate? A shared ancestor is one option. This would mean that different species split after the human's involvement in our creation. If human DNA was involved in some way, this might explain how our different species came to be. Take a far ancestor of ours and apply various amounts of human DNA. The result would be a number of different species, each with a different amount of resemblance to humans. I'm getting it. I did just take genetics and whatnot in biology in school, so that's good. Now, it has been said that an upright stance and being able to walk on 2 legs is a more human trait. Most humans walk on 2 legs. Yeah, right. Absolutely right. In any case, it's one of the things that makes humans unique. As a result, some people believe that certain species share more traits with humans than others. They think it makes them more noble or something. Luckily, this doesn't happen often. You can walk on 2 legs as well, right? Sure. In this theory of shared human DNA, this puts me somewhere in the middle, since I still have wings and horns. I can see that. Here, look at this one. Oof. That one's a little more outlandish. I want to live in the same town as this fellow. I mean, yeah. Well, you can't always choose your neighbors, and this won't be any different in my game. I'm not sure he's a particularly friendly one, though. Actually, I think this is supposed to be a human female. Interesting. Interesting, actually. That is weird. There's some that don't think humans are friendly at all, though. Really? So far, I've only heard positive things about us. Some interpretations of our myths don't exactly paint you in the best light. There are also people who oppose the idea of human worship and that their involvement and what their involvement has meant for us. In what way? They say the human interference was unnatural and that we need to get back to our roots. And how do they think they can do that? Apparently, it means refusing to use modern technology and living in caves or the wilderness again. Like an animal. Pretty much. Most of us think those people are crazy, though. It's just funny that there are people like that with humans, too. And yeah, people believe that, and that's all I'm gonna say. Smacking my lips and just... People believe that. Yeah, they sound the part. They're harmless, really. You probably won't see one of them around here, anyway. What an interesting style, though. Do you know how these pictures were made? No, I'm sure the information is provided when I looked them up in the library, but I didn't copy all that. And you're using these as references? I make do with what I can get. Maybe now you can see why I wanted your help, though. Alright, what do you need me to do? I just want to make some quick sketches. You can stand over there by the wall. Okay, I can certainly do that. I walked up to the spot he indicated. When I took my place, I saw that he laid out a number of pens, paper, and other art supplies on the table. Oh, this is gonna take a while, isn't it? I'll try to be quick about it. Do you want me to strike a pose or something? The T-pose should be good to get started. It's reasonable for game design, but hilarious in modern day internet culture. It's great. What's that? Wait. Okay, I can only accept this because this character wouldn't have any clue about modern culture. That's hilarious. Just point your arms sideways so you look like a giant T. Oh, I get it. Raising my arms to the sides, I wondered how long this would take. Great, now try to stay as still as possible. I'm already regretting this. I mean, can I still... I want to pass the time somehow. Sure, as long as you don't talk with your arms. Very nice. As I wasn't allowed to move my head, I stared at Lorem sketching my figure. This went on for a few minutes until I suddenly heard the sound of a door opening. Didn't Lorem have a roommate? I seem to remember Lorem having a roommate. I also seem to remember this dragon. From something. What kind of voice do we give this dragon? I don't know his name yet, so I can't go off of that, but... he's one of the... I haven't seen a design like it before, that's neat. I actually really do like how they, even within each species, haven't, like, kept themselves with very specific traits. Like, this is one of the very upright standing ones. Both Lorem and Sebastian are what I call the Raptorian ones, that stand mostly on their back legs, but also lean forward and have the wings and a tail. Well, I won't go into too much. Name. Not name. Nope. The game's gonna tell me his name. I need a voice for this. I think it's a boy. It's hard to tell. I don't know. I might just go with something kind of generic. I feel like we won't see it much. Hey, Lorem. Oh, right. The human is going to visit today. I totally forgot about that. You don't mind if I take a seat, right? You just want to study ink. Like you aren't doing that right now. Besides, this room is as much mine as it is yours. I'll just watch and be quiet. I thought you had experiments to run. And they are running. I'd rather not be confined to my tiny room for the next 2 hours, staring at the ceiling and waiting for them to finish. But no experiments on ink. Yes, I'll just sit here and maybe take a few notes. I'm sorry, Ink. This is my roommate and my longtime best friend, Ipsum. Oh my god. I was highly suspecting a Lorem Ipsum joke. I was wondering if the game was gonna stoop that low. Oh, who am I kidding? That's not low. I'd make a joke like that. I've made jokes like that, actually, in my writing before. Okay, anyway, Ipsum. I might as well give him the same voice. I basically have, actually. Nice to meet you, Ipsum. His scientific bluntness may be off-putting, so please bear with him. Speak for yourself. So much for those two being best friends. Lorem returned to his drawing, the silence only being interrupted by the strokes of his pen. I can hear that. The sound design of this game is actually really good, even if the music is at times a little loud and actually covers up the sounds. By the way, have you seen the Ipsum sphere recently? My Ipsum sphere. Didn't you take it with you when you went to the park the other day? Yes, I did. Well, that's the last time I saw it. I must have lost it then. I already searched the whole apartment. Did you go into my room? No. Maybe someone found it. I had it registered in my name when I got it, so if anyone found it, it should show up sooner or later. What's an Ipsum sphere exactly? I'm never gonna say that right the first time, am I? It's just a glorified toy for grown-ups, really. You have no idea what you're talking about. An Ipsum sphere is a very sophisticated tool with a countless number of uses. Like what? It can levitate and follow you around, take photos, you can even use it as a calculator. Whoa! You know what? Nope, not questioning it. I'm gonna wait for them to explain it. Making it a glorified toy for grown-ups. I use it for my experiments. Well, if they can take photos, I wouldn't need to stand around like this. That is, if we had it here now. It is a great companion for all situations in life. It is much easier to draw from a live model than from a photo, though. Easier for you, maybe. I hope this doesn't take much longer, because my arms went numb a while ago. I've had to do this before, I know the feeling. Yeah, I think you can relax for now. I'm nearly done with this one. A tingling sensation went up my arms as I relaxed. Slowly, I began to regain feeling in them. Alright, now turn around. I thought we were done already. Not unless we want our humans to lack a backside. Yeah, that's fair enough. So that's what this is all about. Ugh, you know what I mean. I know exactly what you mean. Isn't it my turn to draw you now? That's not how it works. I wouldn't mind getting a portrait of myself. I can already see it, the light shining from above, caressing my luscious mane, highlighting each lock as they play. This is going to be a long day. That depends on how fast you are. As I was now facing the wall, I couldn't see what Lorem and Ipsum were doing. Hearing their names in the same sentence right after each other is going to be hilarious every time. After a few seconds of silence, I heard some whispering coming from the couch. What are you talking about? I didn't want to be rude, but I was just curious as to your vestments. He said, and I quote, "This would be more interesting if it wasn't for those clothes he was wearing." Oh no. I see how it is. I'm just saying it'd be hard to study an insect if there was a piece of cloth draped over it. Wearing that much just seems odd to me. If humans wear clothes like this, it's only appropriate to depict them as such. And my scientific curiosity shall remain unsatisfied. Because ink is not here to do that. We actually have a pretty big variety of vestments. I could tell you about it. Sounds good, but not right now. I have to finish this up first. Alright. So, Ipsum, I've heard a lot about experiments in science now, but what do you actually do? I work in the facility as a biologist with a minor in physics. In addition to the office, I also have my own setup here at home. I assure you, it's properly isolated from the rest of our apartment. It even has a fume hood to prevent accidents. Good, I wouldn't want Lorem's apartment blowing up. I guess it's Lorem and Ipsum's apartment. Haha, very funny. I need to get over that. But I only use it for the smallest of experiments, usually things unrelated to my job. It does sound interesting. Just having a freaking science setup in your house does sound kind of interesting. Don't get him started, or we won't hear the end of it. Oops, sorry, that was... I don't have a professional mic, if you couldn't already tell. You probably can hear a little bit of buzz in the background, but also if you can't, then I've just pointed out something that you might now notice. Oh, I've made a mistake. I might cut that out. I'm not cutting that out. This is going up raw. No, it isn't. I'm cutting at least a little bit. There were times earlier that definitely got cut out, trust me. Maybe you'd like to talk about your hobby instead, Lorem. What was that? What was the way I just said? Hold on. Maybe you'd like to talk about your hobby instead, Lorem. Isn't this already a hobby? I guess you could say so. I was talking about his other hobby, though. Oh, that. I don't know, it's a little embarrassing to be honest. There's no need to be embarrassed about your hobbies. He likes flowers. Once he even made a crown out of daisies. Cutest thing in the world. Don't listen to him. As usual, he only tells half the story. What's the other half, then? I have an extensive love for botany. The fern he keeps in his room must be the happiest plant alive. I find gardening to be very relaxing, especially when the birds are singing in the morning. It's so nice to go out there with a nice cup of tea and work in the garden in our apartment building. Apartment building? Okay. Which reminds me, Ipsum here has quite an extensive tea collection, although I'm not sure if he prefers to hoard tea or gadgets. It's a mystery. I heard there's going to be a model of the Ipsum sphere that can actually make tea. That's going to be a must-buy. I want an Ipsum sphere. I'm sure so many people who play this game do as well, because that just sounds fantastic. Can it also make cups, or are you supposed to sip it out of the sphere itself? Don't be silly. You two sound just like an old couple. Couple? Us? Not really. We've known each other for a long time, though, if that counts. I think it does. By the way, Ipsum, you're not from here, right? What's that supposed to mean? Well, you look nothing like any other dragon I've seen here so far. I suppose that's true for Lorem as well. You're both pretty small. But you, Ipsum, also have hair. That's certainly new. It's not as unusual as you might think, but you're right. There aren't many of us in these parts. I imagine being smaller than the rest of the population would come with its own challenges. It's not that big of a deal. If something is unreachable for me, I can fly. This apartment was actually intended to house one dragon of a bigger size. That not only makes it fairly cheap, but it's also big enough for both of us. That would actually be really convenient for housing. Let me tell you what. If you could just buy something that's meant to only fit one person, but you're just like, you take up half the space of a person, so you can just live with someone else super comfortably, that'd be so helpful. There's one thing I've been wondering. How do you even sit on one of those chairs? Wouldn't the backrest cause problems with your tails? That's a good point. I see what you mean. For me, it's never been a problem because most chairs are bigger than I am. It's just a question of getting into the right position. However, this might be different from those of us who mostly walk on four legs, but they don't usually use chairs like these at all. That said usually don't, didn't it? I thought that sentence sounded weird. I've seen a few try, though. I suppose they want to imitate humans this way. Yeah? Don't mind me, just blanked out, my brain stopped working. I suppose they want to imitate humans this way. Even if they can't stand or walk like a human, they can try to sit like one. With varying results. Some I've seen looked really funny trying to fit in chairs they are too big for, or sitting in odd ways that clearly don't work for their anatomy. I see. Lorem, you asked me about breath weapons last time, but I don't think you ever told me if you had one. Probably because it isn't worth mentioning. It may only be a very small flame, but it can get very hot. What about you? What about you, Ipsum? Yes, Ipsum, what about you? Ooh, oh, I know. My breath weapon is... I can't even say that word, can I? Elocution. No, that was really easy. I'm not very eloquent. I used the big word. I'm not very eloquent, and I almost thought I couldn't say that. My breath weapon is elocution, since words are more powerful than anything else. Sure. Alright, I'm done with this one. You can turn around. Really? But staring at the wall was so much fun. Let's make one more. Maybe something dynamic. How dynamic are we talking about? Something that isn't static like the reference models I just did. You can strike a pose. Something that's just you. Alright. Oh no. Normal pose, it's awful pose. Swimwear pose. I mean, he said to just be me. And, like, neither of these would be very... Nope. Neither of the other options would be very, like, conducive to a good reference, I'd say. I mean, a swimmer pose maybe, but... Alright, what about this? Works for me. By the way, did you get the groceries when you came home from work? Yes, just as usual. Are you too sure you're not in a relationship? I certainly am. Actually, Ipsum is deeply in love with his home laboratory. Oh, really? I'm not even going to deny that. When I'm not working on something at the office, I do so here. What are you currently working on? I've been looking into the physics of teleportation. You're talking about the portal, right? Well, I don't have permission to even approach the portal, so I have to resort to a theoretical discussion on its mechanics and make do with what I can pull off in my home laboratory. Maybe I can tell you a few things. That won't be necessary. I've already read all the available test reports. Okay. Are you aware that using the portal could be incredibly dangerous? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Then you don't have a complete understanding of what the portal actually does and what it means for our world at large. In order for a portal to function, a natural wormhole is required. Wormhole? Ugh, this accent is getting to me. It is trapped and becomes the portal's entry. The portal manipulates the wormhole's exit. This way, something can be sent to whichever destination is chosen. Now, there's a theory about the purpose of the natural wormholes in the universe. The accent's slipping. Give me a minute. It states that they act as the support pillars of the space-time continuum. How so? How can I explain this? I think the video game analogy worked pretty well. Sure, in a video game, what happens when you meet the edge of the map? You hit a wall? That happens in some games, but in others, you reappear on the opposite side. Right. How does this happen? If a world is a perfect sphere, someone could just keep flying in the same direction, and eventually they would end up as their starting point again. Sure. This is just a result of physics. In the abstraction of a video game, however, it doesn't work like that. They don't try to replicate a spherical world, but use a 2D plane instead. This is getting confusing. Imagine a piece of paper with a world map printed on it. Right? While it shows the entirety of the world, it's still just a simple, flat piece of paper, rather than sphere, right? Sure. Let us assume that in the game, our world map looks like that. Now, what happens when we approach the edge and walk over it? Sorry, no. Now, what happens when we approach the edge and walk over it is that we are teleported to the opposite side. Okay? This doesn't actually make the game world a sphere, but rather a torus. A torus? I actually don't know what a torus is. You know, like a donut. Oh, yeah, I was thinking like the weird... Like if you took a donut, made it an oval, but like a really long oval, and then like twisted it. I don't know. If that's the comparison you want to make. Okay. Now, things are going to get really complicated. No, I wasn't having enough issues understanding this already. That's fine, I bumped my mic, I'm so sorry. Are you familiar with the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics? Let's say I'm not. It states that every single time a choice is made by an actor that possesses free will, the universe splits off in two different branches. I've actually talked about this a little bit when it comes to, like, trying to explain my idea of time travel, where every time... Oops. Burping again. God damn it. Yeah. I've actually tried to, like, explain this to someone, and it's very difficult to make sense of in time travel. I was trying to explain, like, my idea of time travel and, like, why something in a certain show worked out the way that it did, or rather potentially how it could end up working out the way that it might, or the way that the show's characters planned to make it, by, you know, the fact, simply, nope, not getting into it. Nope, that's not what we're here for. It states that every single time a choice is made by any actor that possesses free will, the universe splits off into different branches. This means that for every choice you've made, there exists a branch of the universe where you made a different decision. I see. Now, we can't communicate with those other branches anyway. You don't know what would happen if you had made a separate decision just this morning. You could make an educated guess, but the only person who truly knows what would happen is that alternative you who has made the decision and is living its consequences. That is, unless we could communicate with those other branches. However, there's a barrier that prevents us from doing that. This barrier is made up of wormholes. Okay, everything's coming back to wormholes, and I'm about to get even more confused. How does that work? It is very similar to the torus world model that is used in games. As we approach the edge of our own world, the barrier causes us to end up on the other side instead. Does this mean we get teleported to the other side, like in video games? Not necessarily. It would be just as correct to assume that universe is shaped like a torus. So which is it then? Do we get teleported or not? That depends on how you look at the wormhole's function. Imagine this sheet of paper is the entirety of our world. He took a sheet of paper from Lorem's stack and showed it to me, marking a spot near the edge of the pen. And this is where you live. Unfortunately, your workplace is here, on the other side. He drew an X close to the right edge of the paper. If the world is flat, this would be very unfortunate. However, if the world is a torus, the left and right edges would be connected. You could take the shorter route to work by going over the edge. Now, let's say that this is only possible because wormholes connect these two edges together. If you happen to be at the very edge and looked beyond, everything would look perfectly fine for you. Given that these wormholes stay in their place, you would never know that the world is actually flat and you can only travel to the other side because wormholes connect the edges. You would think that the world is a torus. Right. Oh gosh. I didn't come here expecting like a quantum mechanics lesson, I'm sorry. However, what the wormholes don't actually bring you... What if the wormholes don't actually bring you to the other side by teleporting you, but instead just bend the paper into the torus shape and hold the edges together? If these wormholes failed or were displaced, the paper would unfold, throwing the world into disarray. That's what the wormholes and barrier actually do. They are what hold everything together. So they're really more like glue. If it wasn't for them, the overall construct would collapse in on itself. What construct? The entirety of space-time. Oh yeah, that... You know, I don't think we want the entirety of space-time collapsing on itself. I've only heard bad things if that were to happen. Now, if these theories are true... Oh, we're still talking. If these theories were true, that would mean that using a portal damages the barrier. Each time the portal is activated, the wormhole used for the teleportation is displaced, leaving a small gap where it used to be. Do this too often, and the overall system will destabilize eventually. Alright, maybe you shouldn't talk about your theories about how the world is going to end. Nothing is going to happen because the portal was used a few times. I just hope humanity is aware of its implications. Maybe we can collaborate. I certainly hope so. You researchers seem to know what they're doing. I just wish I could be a part of it. With everything that's going on, the future looks incredibly exciting. What do you think is going to happen, Ipsum? Now you'll get him started. Don't say I didn't warn you. The knowledge contained... I hadn't got him started before? Oh no. The knowledge contained within your PDAs can propel innovation forward by unseen lengths. Meaning a lot more experiments for you to do. Which would be terribly exciting. Personally, I'm more interested in the social implications. What do you mean? I don't expect there to just be back and forth of ambassadors forever. Are you talking about colonies? Oh, I bet Lorem would jump at the opportunity to live in the human world. I'm not sure if that would be a good idea. Why not? Obviously, such an endeavor would need a lot of preparation. We would need to learn about their culture and adjust appropriately. I'd expect we'd send an ambassador over there long before that'll happen, though. We'd hardly know anything about their world. Everything is still up in the air as far as diplomatic relations go. We have no idea what the situation could be like in just a week. Yes, and it's also incredibly exciting. Don't get too excited, though, or else you're gonna ruin your drawing. It's almost done anyway. Oh, the scribbling's been gone. I almost assumed you'd finished. Here, what do you think? Lorem leaned over, holding up the paper to Ipsum. Ipsum looked at the paper closely. His gaze shifted back and forth between me and the paper several times. After a few seconds, he seemed to be finished with his evaluation. As a scientist, my professional opinion is that this part looks a little long. He pointed a sharp claw at a part of the paper Lorem was holding. Are you sure? Let me see. If I wasn't sure, I wouldn't have said it. I think you're right. That I am. Lorem reached for his eraser, purging a few lines from the paper before he switched to his pen again. And it's done. See, what would you ever do without me? I don't think I'd hear as many explosions in the middle of the night. You were happy about it when you forgot to set your alarm that one time. Ugh. Suddenly the sound of an alarm resounded through the room. Oh, my experiment is done. Has it been 2 hours already? He said he had to sit there for 2 hours when we started, didn't he? Oh, jeez. And there he goes. Charming fellow, isn't he? Yeah. I'd say so. I don't know if I'm about to go to sleep or if I'm actually incredibly interested, but he certainly keeps things interesting around here, and he's a good art critic, I can imagine. Anyway, looks like we're done here. Phew, feels good to be able to move again. Would you like to stay for dinner? It'd be the least I can do to compensate for your lost afternoon. Let me see, what time is it? It's getting late and I probably shouldn't stay out this long. Looks like I'll have to decline for now. I see. Well, I gotta do something for you at least. Don't worry about it, maybe some other time. If you say so. Thanks for doing this at any rate. It's been a huge help. Yeah, why did I just baw? Why am I sheep? Okay. Yeah, I know. Don't worry about it, really. Alright. I should really get going now. Sure, take care. Oh, we finished the chapter.